Mario Kart is a very iconic series, as it is tied to one of the most iconic IPs of all time and has sold well over 175 million copies. All of this success is because of the game that started it all, Super Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart didn't really age that well and is considered very janky by modern standards. But every fan of Mario Kart needs to give it the respect that it deserves. The track selection isn't very good, which makes sense since this was the first game in the series, but did it really have to be this basic? There are so many repeated course themes, as they use Mario Circuit 4 times, Donut Plains 3 times, and Choco Island 2 times. Every course in this game has its theme shared with at least one other track. Except one. This track, despite being over 30 years old, is the crown jewel of this game and the whole series. This track single-handedly changed the racing genre and gaming forever. I am of course referring to the one, the only, Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road is easily the most popular course in the series by far, as it has been in every game and has always been the last track of every game's set of Nitro tracks. This course was definitely something special when it first came out and is still very spectacular. Due to the majesty of this track, every game has done their own take on the track, completely overhauling everything, except for the fact that the road is still a Rainbow Road. In this video, I'm going to go over the entire history of Rainbow Road, going over the layout, music, obstacles, and why this track has stood the test of time as one of the best accomplishments in all of gaming. Before we start, I will go over the fact that I'm sadly not going to go over every single Rainbow Road in this video, so I will split this video into 3 parts, with the first one going over the first 4 Rainbow Roads in the series. I will also make a tier list of all of these tracks, as you guys will see my opinion on all of these tracks against each other. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as that is what keeps me making new videos. And now, let's jump into the driver's seat as we go on an adventure through space and time. Let's start off this series with the Rainbow Road that started it all, Super Mario Kart's version. Super Mario Kart's version of Rainbow Road is easily the most basic of all the Rainbow Roads, but it was definitely an important stepping stone for the rest of the Rainbow Roads, as so many staples are included here. The space skybox, the colorful road, the difficulty, all of that originated here. Plus, the song present on this track is easily the best song in all of Super Mario Kart. With all of that said, how is the layout? Well, let's find out. I'm going to start off by saying that all the turns on this track are 90-degree turns, and there are no guardrails anywhere. This relates to the insanely high difficulty present on this track, as Super Mario Kart's controls make it difficult to make 90-degree turns. The course starts off with a right turn with item panels with a straightaway that takes us to the first thwomps on the track. These thwomps are present all over the track and are a very good obstacle. They keep this track from being just a road in space and more like a racetrack in space. There is then a right turn followed by another right turn and 2 left turns. Not much to say here. There is then another set of thwomps followed by 2 more right turns. And then after that, the road gets a little bit narrower before we have a split path. These paths are basically the same, as they are both the same length and feature thwomps. But it is nice that this layout change was added. After 1 more right turn, the track is now over. There are also some more thwomps that guard the finish line, which is a cute detail. Overall, it is easy to see why this course became so popular. Not only does it have a unique theme and difficulty, the music and enemies made this an amazing track compared to the others in Super Mario Kart. On my tier list, I'm going to give it a solid B tier, mainly because the layout isn't super special and the controls do make this track a little bit frustrating. Really quick, if you guys want to know what each tier means, pause the video right now so you can see. Even though this course is very cool, there is a lot of room to improve. So let's get into the first sequel of this track, the one in Mario Kart 64. Mario Kart 64 was the first game in the series to be in 3D, and with it came many changes. These changes include larger tracks, only 3 laps instead of 5 like in Super Mario Kart, and replacing item panels with item boxes. Just like every game in the series, the game ends off with the Rainbow Road, and it is definitely different from the original one. There are many things that are consistent with the previous version, things like the track being in space and the music being amazing. Other than that, everything else is different. The road itself, the difficulty, and the obstacles are not like the original at all. To see why, let's go over the layout. The course starts off with a steep slope down with the only shortcut on the track. This shortcut isn't intentional though, and even though I won't go over unintended shortcuts on my channel, this one is way too iconic to miss. If you jump at the right spot on the slope, you can jump to a much later part of the track and save a huge chunk of time. If you decide not to risk it, the downward slope is followed by an uphill slope with a right turn, some item boxes, and a rainbow hoop. It is here where I'll mention 2 consistencies on the track, with the first one being the fact that there are guardrails on every part of the track. This makes the track so much easier since you don't have to really risk falling off anymore. This was a terrible change in my opinion, as one of the main appeals of the original Rainbow Road was the difficulty, and this does the exact opposite. Luckily, this change did not carry over to any future Rainbow Roads. The second change is a bit more positive, as throughout the track, there will be chain chomps biting the road that you have to dodge. These are nice obstacles that keep this track from just being a road. They chomp towards you, which actually makes them kind of hard to dodge. Overall, the chain chomps are a good obstacle that make this track a lot better. After the right turn, you will drive straight with a soft left turn with boxes into a large dip in the track. Eventually, you will get to a 360-degree turn that goes counterclockwise. There is nothing super special on this loop, but it is nice to build up drifts while trying to avoid any upcoming chain chomps. After a loop, you will do a soft right turn with boxes into a sharp left turn. Then there is a soft right turn with more boxes with a dip and a long right turn followed by a long left turn. There is nothing really interesting to say here that wasn't already mentioned. After a long straightaway with a soft left turn, the track comes to an end. After that, you do 2 more laps of the track, ending with a final time of about 6 minutes. 4 minutes on one track is pretty insane for one Mario Kart track, so 6 minutes is definitely way too long. I don't know why the developers thought that making the track so long was a good idea, but now we forever have to live with a track that takes longer than a typical Clash Royale game. This one aspect brings down the course a lot, but there are 2 things saving it, with the first being the aesthetics. The road does look absolutely amazing, and the fireworks are a nice touch, but one thing preventing this track from being in C tier is the music. This song is absolutely enchanting, and definitely deserves all the praise that it gets. There's a reason that the motif from this song is in 2 other Rainbow Road songs. This course is going to get a solid B tier, and will go above SNES Rainbow Road as the track being easier does make it a little less frustrating to drive. I don't think that anyone can argue to put this track any higher, so now let's see how GBA handled the Rainbow Road. Mario Kart Super Circuit was definitely a step down from Mario Kart 64, as the tracks are now flat with no 3D at all. However, that did not stop Rainbow Road from being a standout once again. Before I get any comments on this, I will note that SNES Rainbow Road is in this game and gets a C tier as all the thwomps were removed. GBA Rainbow Road is definitely an interesting entry to the Rainbow Road canon, as it introduced so many things that never came back in any future iterations. Let's start off with the aesthetics, and they are pretty good as expected. I like the clouds in the sky, the dark blue skybox, and the clown car in the background. I don't know what it's from though. You can leave a comment on that. The start of the track has rainbow walls that protect you from falling off the track. This thankfully isn't across the whole track, so the track is relatively difficult. One thing that is consistent on this track is the ramps on the edge. So now you will be forced to jump when hitting the edge of the track. This is an interesting idea that gets more focused later on the track. At the start, you will do a right turn with coins and item boxes, followed by a left turn and a sharp right turn. This turn is one of the many turns that you can actually cut by drifting at the edge, thanks to the ramps. Again, this is a pretty unique idea. After, there is a straightaway of coins and shooting stars that land on the track, which spin you out when hit. This is a neat idea that actually does get brought back in a much more unique way in the next Mario Kart game, but we'll discuss that more when we get to it. After a sharp left turn with a straightaway featuring item boxes, we then get to a part of the track with thunderclouds that can also damage you. This is very cool as it gets clouds in the background to be featured on the track in some way. After a few more turns, you will get to the most memorable part of the track, a split path. The route on the right has boost panels, coins, and item boxes as expected, but the left path has a ton of boost panels that can lead the player making a massive jump, skipping a large portion of the track. Pulling off this shortcut is super satisfying, but it's also very difficult as the path is super narrow with no guardrails. These paths recombine with a soft left turn followed by a right turn, with both being able to be skipped by taking the left path. After that, there are a few jumps with coins and item boxes with a 90-degree turn leading to the end of the track. There are a lot of boost panels placed on the inside path, so if you're bold enough, you can get a massive speed boost and potentially pass other racers last second. In short, this track is awesome. Not only does this version have unique obstacles and a good layout, it also has a pretty good gimmick that's pulled off perfectly on this track. I'm gonna give this a low A tier. The loose controls and zero verticality are holding this track back a lot, but when this track gets remade, I think it has the potential to be an absolute banger of a track. The music is sadly very unmemorable. After I forced myself to listen to it for a while, I will admit that it is a good song, but it is likely the worst Rainbow Road song of all time. But you know what does have a great song? The next entry in the Rainbow Road saga. So let's finally mushroom into the last track that will be covered in this video. Mario Kart Double Dash is easily the most unique game in the whole series, with 2 drivers per kart and very sensitive drift controls. Like every game in the series, this game also got a Rainbow Road as the last track in the game. This version is easily the most ambitious version of Rainbow Road so far, with so many unique elements and set pieces to make this track one you will never forget. Let's start off with the road itself, and it looks great. All of the Rainbow Roads look good, but this version also has items floating off in the sky, and you can see Mushroom City below you, which is a very unique detail. To see why this track is so unique compared to the others previously, let's go over the layout. The course starts off with a giant ramp that drops you off to a lower part of the track with a right turn. It is here that you will find one unique factor of this version, the physics. Double Dash has some very floaty physics that make even the smallest bumps send you flying. This makes the track very difficult to play on, which is a good thing since it is the final track. After that, there are 2 90-degree turns, and they are definitely super difficult to pull off. Another thing unique to Double Dash is the drifting. This makes it very easy to fall off or hit the wall without breaking. After that, there are a lot of boost pads before you get to the most difficult part of the track, the spiral. This turn is very weird as it's too straight to be able to drift on, but you can't just drive straight either. There are also a lot of boost pads that make it so you can fall off very easily. If you somehow don't fall off at that turn, then you get to a wavy part of the track. Normally, this part of the track would be very easy, but the loose controls make this section very difficult. After a left turn, there's a trampoline that launches you to a higher part of the track, and this is a pretty cool sequence. After that, there's a slightly wavy road with boost pads before a 540-degree turn. This turn is difficult due to the controls as mentioned earlier. After that turn, the track is now over. Before I rank this track, I will talk about the gimmick of this track, as stars rain from the sky like in Super Circuit. Unlike in Super Circuit, you can actually pick up the stars and get a pretty unfair advantage. Even though a star in first place is pretty broken, it is balanced by the fact that it can be very risky to go for a star, as once again, the controls make it very difficult. This track gets everything right. The difficulty, the atmosphere, and the gameplay are perfected. I will go as far as to say that this is the hardest Rainbow Road simply due to the controls being super loose. And the music. Oh my god, it's amazing. This is likely a hot take, but this is my favorite Rainbow Road song ever. It's that good. With all that said, this is an S tier track. I think that this track is something that has never been done in the series ever, and it will be the last time we get the track this way, as the controls won't be as loose if this track ever comes back. So let's appreciate this track for the rest of humanity. Rainbow Road is amazing, there is no arguing that. But why did it change gaming? Well, I think I have the answer. The whimsical majesty in the music, atmosphere, and gameplay in all of these tracks show how special gaming is, and continues to show that games are like movies. You can enjoy them once, but continue to play them time and time again, and the magical feeling you felt from the first time never goes away. That is why Rainbow Road changed gaming. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. Part 2 is likely the next video that will be uploaded to the channel, so look forward to that. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the racetrack. Bye.